Hi, my name's Anthony. I'm currently living in Auckland, New Zealand. This lesson is for week 1 of Introduction to Music Production at Coursera.org. I'll be teaching the basics of the microphone, so let's begin with understanding what a microphone is. A microphone is a transducer. Now, the role of a transducer is to convert one energy form into another. In this case, the microphone is converting sound pressure changes in the air into voltage changes in a wire, to which we refer to as an audio signal. During the transduction phase, there will always be a variation from one change of energy source to the other, and the microphone paints this in a certain way. Now, all microphones are different with multiple specifications and types, which is what affects the change in the transduction. 3 significant factors of a microphone are type, frequency response, and polar pattern. Let's begin with type. So there are many types of microphones, including dynamic, ribbon, condenser, carbon, and laser microphones. But the 2 main types are dynamic and condenser microphones. Dynamic microphones are very versatile and ideal for general purpose use, particularly on-stage work, and can endure some rough handling. They're also better suited to deal with high volume levels, say from certain musical instruments or amplifiers. They do not require any external power for operation. They are great for not picking up surrounding noise due to their directional polar pattern. A great example of an iconic onstage dynamic vocal mic is a Shure SM58. Condenser microphones generally are more responsive and sensitive and are used more widely in the studio for this reason. They tend to record more of the sound space you're in than just the instrument alone, giving greater depth and colour. A condenser microphone requires phantom power, which is 48 volts. Some examples of well-used condenser mics are AKG C414 or a Neumann U87. Now to frequency response. Every microphone is designed for a range of applications. For example, if we look at the SM58, it's designed primarily as a vocal mic. It will produce vocal frequencies well and reject other frequencies that tend not to be within the vocal range. How it responds to the different frequencies it's hearing and filters is known as its frequency response. And if we look at a condenser mic, take the AKG C414 for example, it's designed to pick up as much signal as accurately and as true as possible, and has more of a flat frequency response. By looking at the frequency response curve, we can see which frequencies it will amplify and which it will reject best. This is very important when choosing a microphone for a specific task or purpose. Another key thing to be aware of when working with microphones is paying close attention to its polar pattern, or pickup pattern as it's also known. This is the area around the mic which picks up the sound best and what direction it picks it up at. If we use our trusty SM58 again, we see it's a directional mic and has a cardioid polar pattern. Now, this pattern is great for picking up signal at the front of the mic, where it's directed, and rejecting it from the back, one reason why it's so versatile on stage. Both dynamic and condenser microphones can be directional, and both can have a variety of polar patterns. Another very common pattern is omnidirectional. This means that it picks up from all angles equally well. And there's also a figure of 8 pattern, which picks up from the front and back best, as can be seen from the images of these polar patterns. On some mics, they offer the ability to choose between different patterns with the flick of a switch, just like the AKG C414 does. The polar pattern that you choose will have an impact of how much of the environment or space you're trying to capture. Remember, a directional mic or cardioid pattern is very focused, while an omnidirectional mic can capture more of the space and surroundings that you're in. So just to reflect and to finish up, we'll summarize the 3 main things that we covered in this lesson. The type, which is mainly dynamic or condenser, whether you want a direct focus sound on stage or more open and true sensitive sound in the studio. Frequency response, which is the frequencies the microphone picks up well and what it rejects well. And the polar pattern. This is the pickup pattern, or the direction the microphone best picks up sound at. Experimenting with the various microphones and patterns will really give you a feel for what works best in your desired situation. So go and record some audio, play around with the above factors, and have fun expressing yourself with your new skill set.